You are watching Survive and Protect.
Okay, with the recent events that happened in Austin, Texas, I thought I'd put together a video to show you some things that you can look for in regards to package bombs. But before I do that, I want to show you this video, and it'll give you a kind of a quick rundown of what took place, and then we'll get back to showing you what you can look for.
What we understand at this point is that early this morning, one of the residents went out front and there was a package on the front doorstep. They brought that package inside the residence, and as they opened that package, both victims were in the kitchen and the package exploded, causing the injuries that resulted in the young man's death and the injuries to the adult female. The incident is very similar to the incident that occurred in Austin back on March 2nd. And if you'll remember, that incident also occurred in the morning hours when the victim in that case went out front and found a package on their front steps that exploded, causing that individual's death. That case was being investigated as a suspicious death. It is now being reclassified and is now a homicide investigation as well. And as I've said, we do see similarities and believe that these cases are linked at this time. However, we don't know what the motive behind these may be. We do know that both of the homes that were the recipients of these packages belonged to African Americans, so we cannot rule out that hate crime is at the core of this, but we're not saying that that's the cause as well. We're just acknowledging and we're looking at any possible motivations that would link these two cases together. If you've received a package that you were not expecting, that is not from someone that you expected to receive a package from, or for some reason gives you cause for concern, then call 911 until we've gotten to the bottom of this and cleared these cases. We are not going to tolerate this in Austin, and you have seen every stop will be pulled out, and the federal agencies have all jumped in with us to lend us a hand and to bring this to as quick of a resolution as possible.
All three incidents that have occurred to this point have all occurred at residences, and we don't want to have people be overly alarmed, but it is important that people be vigilant and be aware for things that look suspicious. If you have had a package show up at your home and you were not expecting a delivery, if the package that is delivered to your doorstep looks suspicious in any way, call 911, report it. We will respond.
All right, let's talk about this package here. And let's say you received the package, is at your front door. And number one, if you're not even expecting a package to begin with, you don't even want to touch the package, all right? You know you hadn't made any orders online, or a relative or nobody's planning on sending you anything, and you just got this package in front of your door. My suggestion is you step back away from the package, don't even touch it, to move it out the way, call the police department, and let them know you received a suspicious package at your front door. Give them some details as to saying, as far as you wasn't expecting the package to come. As far as you know, nobody was sending you anything. All right. Then right after that, call the post office and tell them the same thing. Let them know that you notified the police department and that they're on their way. They might have some specific questions to ask you, and you might want to also tell them to notify the postmaster. Okay. I said that if you didn't see any label on the package and you're not expecting any package, you should call the police department and let the post office know. Now, let's say you have a label on it. If there's a label on it and you're still not expecting a package, definitely still don't touch it. Follow the same procedures as calling the police department, call the post office, and let everything run its course from there. All right? So now, another thing to look at, besides not having a label on the package, or if there's a label on it but you're still not expecting a package to come in, And of course, like I said, you don't touch that. But let's say now you have a package that has no label on it, and then you see something like this here. You have like a wet area on the package. Let's say it's positioned in such a way to where you can look at it. You can tell, as far as you can tell, you don't know what's on the bottom because it's on the ground, right? So right now, all you can tell is there's no label and there's this wet area. Well, it's very possible that this wet area could be where they actually have the possible bomb inside the package glued in, and maybe some of the glue is seeping out and coming out outside of the package here. Or it could be some other fluids related to the bomb and it's just coming out of the package, all right? So that's just another indication of a possible package bomb. All right, now you're seeing this thing in here, this wet area here, and on the other side, or let's say there's a label here as well. Let's say you have a label, but you still have this little wet area, and again, you're not expecting the package, but you're seeing these things here are giving you some indication like, hey, this might be a possible package bomb. Again, don't touch it. Call the police department, call the post office, all right? So far we got, just to go back, we have no labeling, right? You're not expecting the package. Call the police department, call the post office. You have some labeling, but you're still not expecting the package. Again, call the police department, call the post office. Now, you might have no labeling and you have some wet area, which could give you an indication that, hey, maybe there is a bomb in here and this is the area where they glued it together, or they needed to glue some of it in this portion of the box, right? You see something like this, it's always a possibility that it is a package bomb. It could be a possibility, and I'll go into it a little bit deeper here in a minute. It could be a possibility that the post office or UPS, somebody might have delivered your package kind of late. You're already in the house, you was in for the day, and there's always a possibility that packages might have got scattered in the truck, and maybe something from one package leaked onto your package, and that might be all there is to it. It just might be something leaked. But again, you got to keep in mind that if there's no label on it, then how do you know it's yours? And plus you see this thing here, okay? Which also brings me to say that when it comes to the post office and UPS and maybe FedEx, you probably want to call these places and ask them what are their starting times during the day, when do they get started in the morning, and when is the normal last time of the day that driver or deliverer is delivering packages. Because let's say, like, it's a scenario, you are home and you home all day, you didn't get any packages the entire day, right? And so now it's, let's say hypothetically 6 o'clock is closing time for post office, UPS, and FedEx. So you've been home all day and you've received no package. It's now 7 p.m., right? So from 7 p.m., let's say 5 p.m., let's say 8 o'clock, they all open up. So you got from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., all that time in between there's no deliveries. But when you get up in the morning, let's say you get up at 6 and you see this package here, that should be another thing to spark your mind to say, well, wait a minute, these places don't open up until 8 o'clock. I got up at 6 or 5 in the morning and I see some package on my thing, and I know yesterday I was home all day, so that should also spark your alertness to saying, wait a minute, is something wrong? I'm going to call the police department, all right? Okay, another thing to look for, it could be separate, just one thing, or it can be in combination with the no label, the wet area, the time that it's been put that you found it, knowing that the day before you were home and you received no package, all those things in combination, or just by itself. You might see some powdery substance on your box. It could be white powder, it could be brown, it could be black. And if it's not a bomb, it's possibly some narcotics, right? Some drugs. It could be fentanyl, heroin, cocaine on your box. You never know. So outside of the package bomb, and you want to look at other things as well as drugs, possibly drugs in the box. It could have been a mistake on delivery where it's supposed to have been delivered. Also, when you see those things, also notify the police department, because if it's not a package bomb, it could be some drugs, right? Or that can kind of be a decoy by putting the powdery substance on there, and it still might be a bomb. The bomb could be meant for somebody, right? So all these little things is stuff to look at and consider before you really bend down and pick this package up from in front of your door. Okay, now here's something else to consider when it comes to package bombs. All right, again, like I mentioned, you might have the oily area here, no labels anywhere around the box. But another thing, let's say all of this is good. Maybe, let's say there's a label, but you still weren't expecting a box. I'm just throwing scenarios out. Let's say you have a label on the package. You don't see any wet areas on the box, on the package at all. But you also notice, or you notice that there's something sticking out of it. Some type of wire, some type of string. All right. Again, if you're not expecting the package and you see something like this, or you see a combination of something sticking out of it, the wet area, there's nothing on the box, or if you have a label on the box, but you're still not expecting anything, these are all telltale signs that it's possible this could be a package bomb, all right? Again, it could be some string, which could be a fuse to something. Who knows? It could be something that as soon as you pull it, it triggers the bomb to go off, all right? Because some people get curious. They want to touch things and, hey, wait a minute, let me see what this is. And pulling on it will set it off, okay? So if you see something like that, again, that's another thing that you done picked up. And definitely call the police department again and call the post office. It's probably a good idea to call both of them. Call the police department first and then call the post office. Okay, some things to have an understanding about is there are different ways that a package bomb can explode, okay? You want to consider that if you move it, even just a little bit, that can set something off, all right? Also, if it could be a timer, because like I said earlier, you might see this little wet area, and it might be packed inside there with some glue, and the glue came out of the box a little bit showing, and it might be a timer set. You know, they'll put the box in front of your door, and before they do that, they'll set a timer inside, a couple of hours, figuring that you'll probably get up by then. And you get up and you hold it, you bring it inside, it doesn't go off, and at a certain time, boom, it explodes, okay? Also, you got trip wires. It could be attached to a trip wire. You might get up in the morning and it has a wire attached to it. And all you see right at that time is just the box, because it's probably still dark out. So you decide, hey, let me see what's in it. Maybe it's the next door neighbors, or you just become curious. And then you pull it with that wire attached to it. And as soon as the wire pulls as much as it needs to pull, enough for it to set it off, it can set the package bomb off, all right? So you got the timer, you have remote control, you have tripwire, and of course you have movement, okay? It can be set off just by moving it just even a little bit. So these are some things to keep in mind that'll keep you from even deciding to even grab this package or a package that you receive in front of your door. Okay, so hopefully I've given you some good information and this is valuable for you guys. That way, if you see any packages that look suspicious to you, a lot of times you are given general information from chiefs of police or officers. They always just say, oh, if it looks suspicious. But a lot of times they don't give you what to look for other than if it looks suspicious. If it's just sitting there, is it really suspicious? Outside of maybe just not seeing a label, that might be all you think about, is that if it doesn't have a label, well, hey, this box is sitting in front of my door, and that's it. But if you look around a little bit without touching it first, you might see a wire attached to it, right? You might see a wet area, maybe indicating it's glued in there somewhere. The no labels, or even if it is a label but you weren't expecting the package, these are all indications that there's something going on. Also, you might see some type of drugs on there. some residue. It might be visible enough for you to look at and notice. And that's some other indications of some other stuff going on. It could be drugs in the box, right? It could be all a decoy for something else to make you look at one thing and yet something else is gonna happen, right? So hopefully this is giving you some valuable information, things to be aware of when it comes to package bombs. All right. So once again, I want to thank you guys for checking out the channel. Be sure to subscribe, comment, like, and definitely share these videos. Share these videos with everybody you know, friends, family, co-workers, because they can all get something out of these videos, okay? And once again, I thank you guys for checking out Survive and Protect. And I'm out of here, man. Thanks. Peace.